Smith, your faith-based business coach, and you're tuned in to Divinely Driven Results, where you learn and implement divine strategies for real results in your business. And today I have an amazing guest on because the fact of the matter is that we let guilt and shame overrun our lives and our business. You know what I'm talking about, where last month maybe you didn't hit the goal that you wanted to, and we just bring that guilt and shame right into our results for this month. Well, not anymore. So my amazing guest here, Tessa Hopman, she is our results coach, and I am so excited to have her on to be able to help us understand how we can let go of that guilt and shame and really step into the results that we want. So Tessa, please tell us who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, first of all, Elise, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be able to share this and share the knowledge so people can move forward and actually reach their goals. And that is what I do. So I became, from experience, not knowing what I wanted to do, being stuck, being overwhelmed, to kind of had to force myself to learn these steps and these tools. And by God's grace, and it always happens like that, you're not looking forward, and there was my purpose, and I realized I could help other women also find this, so find this drive and this fulfillment into actually walking a life of purpose. So yes, became a purpose coach first of all, and it kind of naturally evolved into results coaching, so helping people reach their goals, but also in business coaching, helping people reach their goals in business. And it's a bit of a two-way street now, but I love all the diversity that's coming in. And from it, we have created a digital agency now. So truly blessed and growing in all aspects of helping people just thrive.
Awesome. That's so great. And tell us where you're from, because I love your accent.
So my accent's a bit mixed. Originally from the Netherlands, moved to South Africa, met my partner, and now we moved to New Zealand together, where we've been now for just over 2 years.
That's great. And if you can't see the video, she's in like a tank top in the summertime, and I'm like freezing in a sweater. So I love,
yes.
love that we get to connect all over the world. So tell us, Tessa, what made you want to choose this topic here for today's episode?
I think because, especially for us women, that is what holds us back most, that feeling that we are either inadequate, that we are too much, that we're not enough, that somebody next to us is running the race much faster than us. And from our being little and what our parents have told us and our peers, guilt and shame is just so embedded in us, and it truly holds us back. It truly keeps our greatness covered. So I really want to break through that taboo and help women move forward by just embracing who they are and using that to move forward.
Absolutely. I could not agree more, man. We beat ourselves up way too much. We are our harshest critics sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. We give the devil way too much to play with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tell us, how do you help your clients overcome guilt and shame?
So mainly I just start by explaining to them, well, what is it actually that we feel guilt and shame about, and where does it come from? Because it kind of comes from 3 different angles. So we obviously have the devil, which we know he suggests things to us, but we also have our brain, who in its very limited ability is trying to keep us safe. So I tried to make people understand that, listen, we have a brain, we are not our brain. So that helps to see that when we're beating ourselves up, it's not us per se, it's actually our brain trying to keep us stuck in our comfort zone, because that's where it kept us safe, right? And then it's also guilt and shame coming from, like I said, from our past experiences, from what other people have told us, and those things get stuck in us. We leave a part of our soul with those experiences, with that trauma. And if you've ever heard about Gestalt theory, it actually says that we don't respond to things that happen right now. We respond to things that happened to us in the past. So by releasing those blocks and that energy, and by just understanding how our brain works and how we can make it work for us, we just remove the blocks and people can finally move forward. So in a nutshell, that is what the coaching is about.
Oh, I love that. And I love how you said, because I've never heard this before, we have a brain, we are not our brains. Like, yes. Why do you think that's important for us to remember?
Because our brain plays tricks with the limited knowledge that it has. But when we understand that God gave us a super powerful creative tool, which is our mind, we start realizing that our mind controls our brain. So the brain does the bidding of the mind and not the other way around. Because for a very long time, people have tried to prove that we can't really be held responsible for our actions, that the brain is a system and it operates a certain way, but it's not true. And if we read in the Bible, like, we need to speak things into existence, we need to meditate on all things positive, good, and right, that is because our brain has this creative power, and what we focus our attention on, we create. So by understanding this power, we can actually start making the brain work for us and not against us. I think that's why it's so important to know that difference.
Wow, I love that. So it's like our mind uses the brain as a tool.
Exactly.
That's genius. Oh, that's perfect. So how would a woman entrepreneur really put this into her business?
I think getting clear on, and I know it sounds so cliche, right? Getting clear on your why, because that is so important when it comes to the brain and the mind, is because we have very powerful drivers within ourselves, and we won't have time to go through all of them today. I will do more on your live workshop about this, but we have the golden values, so the things we enjoy in life, we enjoy talking about, researching, doing. And then we have our shadow values, the things that we have been told we need to hide, but are actually very powerful tools to drive us towards our goals. For example, the need for attention. We've always thought it was a bad thing, but it can help us to create something beautiful that benefits other people. So by understanding these drivers, it becomes much more easy for us to step into that purpose that God has for our business, and to embrace the person that God has made, because he knows exactly the traits we need and the measure we need it in order for us to do this business. Because, for example, if you like attention, you might be a good public speaker, and that's exactly who God created you to be. So it's by really embracing that and using those values to drive your goals in your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, that God created us exactly who we're meant to be, and we should use those gifts. I think about a snowflake, about how there's all these cuts that are no, there's no snowflake that's alike anywhere else, and it's because of all these talents and gifts and things like that that we have those same cuts as well. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to hear more about your golden and shadow values. That's so neat. Well, good. Well, so talk to us a little bit more about what gets clients stuck, or what gets people stuck when they're trying to let go of that guilt and that shame?
Yes. So oftentimes we will say this, right? We are procrastinating, we are stuck in paralysis, or like comparative analysis, the what ifs, or we get stuck in our imagination, in the fear. And these are our roadblocks. So these are our instincts, which is our primitive brain, so like the oldest brain that we have, and then becomes our emotion, which is the more middle part of our brain. And then finally, it's our intellect, which is the frontal cortex, so the front part of our brain. And these are little roadblocks that keep us from our goal. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not because we don't want to achieve the goal, it's because our brain doesn't know if where we're heading is actually safe for us. So it wants to keep us in the bubble of the comfort zone because it kept us alive there for so long. It wants us to stay there. And then it throws up these things like your imagination, like all the what ifs going around in your brain, or even things such as a fear, like a rapid heart rate, sweaty palms, a ragged breath. All those things the brain can kind of trigger because it feels that it is in danger. So when we understand, again, it's all about the knowledge and understanding, because then you can work through them, because each step has its own solution. So by understanding, okay, well, where do I get stuck, why am I procrastinating, then we know which step it, and we can help you overcome that and move forward again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I work with my clients as well, is that sometimes we settle for like the surface layer why, whether that's our why motivation or the blocking why is what I call it, the things
Yeah.
that are holding us back. And so you just said it, is that we have to go deeper and understand what's really holding us back. So
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned the why. My first session, it's an hour long, and I just ask why. So why are you here? And then we go why again and why again. And the clients don't understand until they come to this realization, because they've never taken the time to ask themselves 15 times why. So you're so true. Like, just keep digging on the why.
Exactly. It is an extremely powerful tool. And I think even in the Bible, you can see that it's not just surface layer answers that people ask in the Bible and that God actually gives those. It's deeper. And that's where that growth is. That's where any of our blocks that we need to overcome, that's where they're at. So I love it. And I like how you add the brain piece into that too. It's amazing. Well, neat. So is there anything else that you want to make sure that these amazing women entrepreneurs get from you today?
I think I can't show you, but just the promise that stepping in your purpose, because I know a lot of women will be listening to this because they're on that edge and they're just thinking, but what if I fall, But God always says, I got you. I'm going to make you soar like on the wings of eagles. So if you're on that edge and you're not sure if you want to step, just do it, because in the end, the only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be, that little piece is called action. And God rewards that action. God rewards that faith. So if you take one step today, I'm sure Elise will put a little note in there. I have a Purpose Finder workbook. So just download it, go through it, answer the question, and really see what it is that you are meant to be doing. And it can be so easy to take that first step. So I just really want to encourage you today, just one step.
I love that Purpose Finder workbook. Like I want that. So I'll make sure to download that too. It's so awesome. Well, neat. So if they want more information about you and what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah. So you can go to thevinedresser.com. It's a biblical name that I've chosen, and I think it's beautiful to talk about that. We can do that another time. But anyways, it's thevinedresser.com, and there you will find the workbook as well if you want to go a detour. But otherwise, I'll just post the direct link for the workbook under the podcast as well.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful. And don't forget, ladies, to come join Faithful Ladypreneurs, the free Facebook group, because the amazing Tessa is going to be doing a live where she kind of gave us a sneak peek already that she's going to be talking about the golden and the shadow values. And I definitely want to hear more about that. So thank you so much for being part of the show, Tessa.
Thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to see everybody again on the live.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful. Well, if you need more information, just go to divinelydrivenresults.com. And thanks so much for listening.